Okay guys, I'm going to see if I can make this somewhat simpler from the fluid movement between plasma and interstitial spaces. And what you'll see here is we have the venous end, and at the venous end your capillary oncotic pressure, so we're saying that COP, exceeds hydrostatic pressure. Okay, so at the venous end, capillary oncotic pressure exceeds hydrostatic pressure. And then over here on this end, on the arterial end, hydrostatic pressure exceeds capillary oncotic pressure. All right? So here you're going to see you have your capillary hydrostatic pressure, and over here you have your capillary oncotic pressure. And these little guys here are our plasma proteins, and we call those albumin. Okay, so those are our albumin. And right here you have your interstitial oncotic pressure and your interstitial hydrostatic pressure. Okay, so hydrostatic pressure, both interstitial and capillary, equals the pushing of water. Okay, so your hydrostatic pressures are pushing. Okay, then you have your oncotic pressures, and they're going to be the pulling. Okay, the pulling, oops, there's my R, of water. All right. Now, what pushes fluids into the interstitial space is your capillary hydrostatic pressure. So this is going to push water. Okay, so it's pushing water into the interstitial space. Okay, so it's pushing against this capillary wall right here. This is our capillary wall. So it's going to push water into the interstitial space. And then your interstitial osmotic pressure, which is right here, is going to pull this. So it's getting this pushing, and this guy is pulling that water in. Okay? So it's going to pull particles into the interstitial fluid. And then over here, what you have is your capillary or your interstitial hydrostatic pressure now is going to push here, and it's going to push against this capillary wall, and this capillary oncotic pressure is now going to pull it in with the help of albumin. So these little guys right here are pulling water, pulling, right like that. Okay? So your capillary hydrostatic pressure here, that guy, is the primary force. So primary force for movement of fluid out of the capillaries. So the primary force for fluid movement, oops, let's erase that right there. fluid movement out of the capillaries. So you see that? Out of capillaries. Okay? And then your capillary oncotic pressure right here is the primary force. So this guy is the primary force for pulling, okay, pulling fluids back in. All right, by the help of those little plasma proteins, which are your albumin. So hopefully this little thing will have you better understand the whole pushing and pulling of water into and out of the capillary.